For those new to the channel, welcome. For ramen returnees, welcome back. 5 AM Ramen is about delivering you Japan's top ramen. I'm Frank and I live and breathe ramen. And love eating food in general. But especially ramen, of course. This is the 13th episode in this Northern Japan Ramen Series. In the first 12 episodes, I had 29 bowls of ramen in Gunma, Niigata, Yamagata, and Fukushima prefectures. Fukushima prefecture is my last prefecture on this trip, and in this episode, we're breaking the 30 ramen bowl barrier. And in this episode, we're still in Fukushima prefecture, and I'm just not in any city in Fukushima. I'm in Kitakata, where they also live and breathe ramen, eating it for breakfast, and boasting more ramen restaurants per capita than any other city in Japan. Ramen soup flows through this city like a gushing river. In the previous episode, I enjoyed my first bowl of Kitakata Ramen at Namae Shokudo, a legendary ramen shop that's open from 7 AM. Start your day with ramen first, coffee afterwards. I'm now on my way to the second ramen shop of the day, Shokudo Namae. Let's go to me on the ground. And this place is super famous as well. Namae, also like Namae Shokudo, they're actually in the top 100 list on Tabelog for ramen in the east of the country. And technically I'm still having breakfast ramen given the time here. It's a little bit after 10. After a little bit of walking, I arrived. Shokudo Namae is right behind me. I have to wait a little bit. It's a tiny little place. If anything, it gives me time to digest. But I'm gonna jump in pretty soon. Since 1972, Shokudo Namae has been serving delicious Kitakata ramen. As a friendly reminder, Kitakata ramen is usually defined by a crystal clear, relatively light soup that's often pork bones, but can include other ingredients like fish. This is the case at Shokudo Namae. It's both pork bones and dried fish. Kitakata style ramen also features thick, wavy noodles with a lot of water in them. This high water content gives them a fun sort of springiness. Now at Shokudo Namae, I have a decision to make, whether to get their standard chuka soba or ramen, or order the ramen with extra thick, handmade noodles, gokubuto teuchimen. I asked the owner and end up ordering the thicker noodles. I definitely don't regret my decision. Also, I ordered extra chashu pork. In Kitakata ramen, chashu pork toppings are arranged almost like flower petals. They're soft, juicy, and a huge, delicious highlight. Here's my full recap of Shokudo Namae. Alright, I'm lounging a little bit here at my ryokan after that bowl at Shokudo Namae. And it was a great bowl, of course. Compared to Namae Shokudo, you had similar flavors. It was really light soup. You had a little bit more of that soy sauce tanginess. I also got the chashu men, so extra chashu there. And I love the fact that at these places, my god, it's like under 700 yen, even if you get extra chashu. We're talking about the 600 yen range. Crazy. I really love the interior of the shop. It was a cozy little place, elderly gentleman making the ramen, and it was very magical. I know I use the word magical, enchanting, whatever you want to call it, these sort of words a lot, but I think it best describes this kind of place. And Kitakata as a whole is magical. Ramen shops everywhere. The only thing is which ones to choose. Alright, I'm gonna get right back to it. Let's visit Kitakata Ramen Shop number 3 now. That is ramen shop number 3 in Kitakata, ramen shop number 2 in this video. Unfortunately, the next Kitakata ramen shop I wanted to visit was closed for the day. One of the most wonderful things about ramen in Japan is that the vast majority of ramen shops are mom and pop ones. They're essentially small businesses that care deeply about their craft. But as small businesses, sometimes they might close on random days, especially in a small city like Kitakata. I retreat back to my hotel, expressing my disappointment. Disappointment because, I've only had 2 bowls today. Not a big deal, just means I'll have to go harder tomorrow. And then in the meantime, I bought some snacks at 7-Eleven. Nothing crazy, but just some things to tide me over. I don't think there was a day on this whole trip where I only had 2 bowls. But the ramen gods were not with me that evening either, and the place I wanted to visit was closed too. But rest assured, because in this video, we're jumping ahead to the following day. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day here in Kitakata City. You can hear the birds chirping, running water, and very soon you'll be hearing ramen slurping as well. It's a crisp, cold morning, and since I didn't eat that much yesterday, I'm gonna go big today. I am indeed going big. In a relatively short time span for lunch, I'm hitting up 4 ramen shops in Kitakata, taking advantage of my last day in this ramen-loving city. My first of 4 ramen is a breakfast ramen just like yesterday. This is going to be at ramen shop Abe Shokudo. And I'm sorry to tell you that I found out that Abe Shokudo closed its doors permanently this past August. I visited back in February before this happened. On the one hand, I'm sorry that none of you will be able to visit them. On the other hand, I'm happy that this video will serve as a small reminder of Abe Shokudo and the wonderful ramen they serve. Their ramen had all the markings of Kitakata Ramen, a soy sauce seasoned pork bone and fish soup. However, their ramen soup was not as clear as what you get at other places. It was murkier and fattier, and oh, I loved it. Let's listen to some sounds from inside Abe Shokudo, including me eating. I didn't think it would be a tribute at the time, but here's me in a second, on the street right after finishing my ramen at Abe Shokudo. On a side note, the ramen shop Makoto Shokudo, which I tried to visit yesterday, if you remember the other video, and was closed, has a historical relationship to Abe Shokudo. So, in the future, this place, Makoto Shokudo, which is still open, is one that I need to visit and that all of you can perhaps visit to get a taste of ramen that is close to Abe Shokudo. Okay, so here's a little recap on Abe Shokudo. Oh, I love that bowl. And I love the inside. I think there were 3 old ladies in the kitchen and also taking orders, bringing them out. And even though they were older, the way that they moved was as if they were 20 years younger. I think running a restaurant from early in the morning just makes you very active, very mobile. And I think that was reflected when I saw them moving about. Now for the ramen itself, oh yeah, it was delicious. It had a much stronger soy sauce flavor to season the bowl with, stronger than any of the light bowls up to now here in Kitakata. And the soup was also richer. It had a much more fatty flavor, kind of like a style you might see in Hiroshima, or it was heavier than, let's say, a Tokyo style chuka soba, but not quite as heavy as, let's say, Kyoto, for example. And you had thick noodles, a lot of water content, nice bounciness to them. Classically delicious. I'm now on my way to a newer ramen shop, Umehachi, and this was a place that was actually recommended to me by a few locals here. We're gonna save this ramen shop for the next video, and I'm keeping the big theme here as I order a ramen there with extra chashu pork. I am hungry. The video will also include Genraiken, the ramen shop where Kitakata Ramen originated. Until next time, this is Frank from 5 AM Ramen signing out. During this whole trip, I basically not used any hair products. Not that I've been like a big hair product guy, and the wind has really made the sort of fro come out, or I don't even know if you could call this a fro.